Okay, so today's lesson is going to be on Sligo River Blues by John Fahey. For reference, he's got two different recordings of it, so I'm going to use his earlier recording off of the original Blind Joe Death album, I think from 1959. So I've got a link below of that particular recording. So basically it'll be in standard tuning. Right now my guitar is tuned a whole step lower on each string than standard tuning, so my capo is on the 2nd fret, but that'll just be the normal standard tuning. Now, to go through the different parts to the song, I would say that there are basically 4 different parts. There's an A section, if you want to call it that. There's a B section, and then there's a modified A section and a modified B section, and then plus the ending. So what I'll do is just go through the A section first, and then basically go from there. The whole song has 3 different chords. First is your normal C chord, then an F chord, then a G chord. So we'll deal with the F chord and the G chord later, but starting off with your normal C chord, it's like this. That's the A section. So starting off, it goes like this. So really, just with the bass line, it's an alternating bass between the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the 2nd fret of the 4th string. I kind of mute those with like the palm of my right hand, so you could try that too. And then on the treble side, we've basically got this. So that starts with an open 2nd string, then you fret the 1st fret, and then open top string. Now since you're pretty much playing the C chord this whole time, you can kind of, you don't really have to just hit the 2nd string, just hit the top string. You can kind of like, when you hit the top string, you can kind of hit the other strings too. And I just do that by coming up with my pointer finger. And then you do that thing again. And then this time, instead of going into the top string, you hit the 3rd string. So altogether it's like this. And with the bass line it's like this. Now, one thing to note here is that this will become more important in the sections to come, but you really want to hold down the notes. For instance, when you're playing this, even though you're on the 3rd string, you still want to hold down this note, held down by your 1st finger on your left hand, because that'll kind of keep all the notes ringing out. See, this note's ringing out, and I picked that note, but this note is still ringing out. And then you just repeat that. So it's a bit different there, but it's really the same fingerings. Alright, so that first bit on the C chord is like this. Top string. you won't be fingering it like a bar chord, and you won't just be doing these top 4 notes. It'll be it'll be a chord where you basically fret all the notes that you need will be the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then I just throw in the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, so that you can kind of sweep through the strings. Even though you won't really play that note, you can kind of like use it for when you kind of play the other notes. And then the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So you've got those 3 notes, and then with your thumb you have to come over and fret the 1st fret of the bottom string. That's because the alternating bass on the F chord will be on the 6th and 4th strings, and then the treble notes are really the same. And then you just go back to the C chord. Now, going back to the F chord, the reason why you won't play it as a bar is because then this kind of changes your whole hand position. Notice that with the C chord, your fingers are kind of laid out in this way. Fingers kind of coming up at an angle with the thumb being able to creep over the neck. Now the advantage of like playing the F chord like this is that you can pretty much keep your hand in the exact same position. You do have to move a few frets around and then start fretting this with your thumb, but for the most part your hand can stay in the same position. C chord, F chord, C chord. So it's really efficient that way. So and that's kind of important for this song. You don't want to be moving your hand too much because you just want to obviously keep it as simple as possible. So going back to the F chord then, it's like this. So it's just a bunch of these open 2nd strings to 1st fret to the top string. And then with the alternating bass, it's like this. So altogether, starting from the bottom, or from the beginning, it's like this. And then F chord. And now we go back to the C chord. And now we go back to the F chord. To the C chord. I know that's a lot, but I think instead of kind of, I think it's a lot easier to just use your ear and figure out to kind of know when to change chords and stuff, as opposed to counting it all out. So yeah, so for that, make sure to check out the recording that I've linked below. Now after we've done all that, so gone from 1 chord to 4 chord, back to 1 chord, back to 4 chord, back to 1 chord, then we go to the 5 chord, which is the G chord. So it'll basically be the 3rd fret of the bottom string, and then the same treble notes. So the the alternating bass on the bottom is that third fret of the bottom string and the open D string. So, and notice that when we play the G chord then, the hand is still in the same position. So C chord, F chord, and G chord, the hand doesn't really move that much. So, and then we go back to the F chord. And then back to the C chord. So that's the first A section. And then the B section is actually the exact same, except whenever you, so the fingering on, the plucking on the right hand is the exact same, and the fingering with the left hand is all the exact same, except now you just keep your pinky planted on the third fret of the top string, and that does this. You might have noticed that my pinky never, throughout that whole thing, never lifts off the third fret. And that's where, what I was talking about earlier, where it's really important to keep certain fingers planted so that you can let the notes ring out. So kind of get used to that, where your pinky will just be pretty much anchored there. And then all the fingerings will be the same. I recommend going through this slow because it is harder with the pinky. So you'll really want to concentrate on each chord change. So that you're moving as the least, you have the least amount of movement as possible between chord changes. So that's really the B section. And then the modified A section comes up next, and that's where he does this. So it's really the same as the A section originally, where there's no pinky here. So it's just the open top string. But instead he does this on the treble side. So bass lines are all the same, but on the treble side it's like this. So the way that'll go is you'll pluck the second string with your pointer finger and then hammer into the first fret and then pluck the top string. So you might want to just practice that. And then throw that in with the bass lines. so on. The timing is a bit challenging to line it up with the bass lines, so definitely take it as slow as you really need to. So that's the modified A section. So it's the A section, B section, modified A section, and then he gets into this right away. So really, again, that kind of takes from the B section. And that there's that third finger of the top fret, of the top string, planted at the third fret. And then it's also modified since there's that same hammer-on thing. So it's really all the same as the modified A, and similar to the B section. And so the bass lines are the same, the fingering or plucking with the right hand is the same. And the only difference is, again, that top note. So that's really the whole song. So I won't actually go through that modified B section because it's really the same thing. So that would actually cover the whole song. I think the actual form of the song is that he goes A section, B section, modified A section, modified B section, A section, and then modified A section, and then it's done. And then there's the ending, which goes like this. So the way that goes is it's all on the C chord, and then you kind of go down the chord. So it's the root first, second fret of the G string, then open G string, second fret of the fourth string, and then third fret of the fifth string. And then he plays a C7. So that's really the C chord, but with the pinky fretting the third fret of the G string. So instead of just a C chord, there's that added note here, and he just strums it. So it comes down the chord, and then C7. And that's the whole song. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Let me know what you guys think, or if you've got any questions or whatever. I just also like to point out that this poster here, the Sunhouse poster, came from one of the fellow viewers out there. So I don't know if he's still making these posters, but if he is, maybe with his permission, I'll throw his YouTube account in the description box below, and then you can maybe ask him if you're interested in getting one of these posters, which is a really awesome poster. So yeah guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.